and welcome to my 1920s New Year's Eve Get Ready With Me video. This year I'm heading out for a roaring 20s murder mystery evening at a friend's house, and I thought I'd practice my makeup look in front of the camera for you guys so you can see how I put together this 1920s look. It may not be historically accurate, but it's definitely inspired by lots of different makeup trends from the 20s, which I'll explain as I go along. So before I ramble for too long, let's get started. So first I'm going to create a really matte base using my new Benefit primer. I don't want any glow for this makeup look. That definitely wasn't a trend in the 1920s. Then I'm going to blend two of my favourite foundations, which are from Rimmel and Hourglass, to create a little bit more of a paler complexion than I usually would, and a really flawless, very full coverage finish. And I'm just blending this in with my Zoeva 102 Silk Finish brush. Then I'm going in with my NARS Creamy Concealer just to attempt to hide those awful eye bags that I seem to have developed over the Christmas period, and then I'm going to blend this in with my fingers after dotting it over my brow area and on the chin as well. Then to set all the cream makeup, I'm using my Bare Minerals powder just to make sure none of the cream makeup goes walkabout during the evening. I also want to get rid of any shine that might be left on my skin. As I didn't do any contouring in the 1920s, I'm using one of my paler bronzers, which is the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess, just to bring a little bit of shape into my face, but nothing too major. And then for the brows, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, but I'm not adding any volume to the brows because thin brows were more fashionable back in the 20s, so I'm just filling in any gaps and evening out the shape. I'm setting the brows in place using my Benefit Gimme Brow, but again not adding too much volume. Then I'm using a Bobbi Brown eyeshadow set to really start to build up a bronzy brown smoky eye, so I'm using quite a pale shade all over the lid and making sure it's really well blended. Then with a slightly darker shade I'm going in over the crease. I'm not being too precise here, I'm just going to keep on building it until I get a look that I like, slowly adding in a little bit of shimmer as well. Then I'm using an even darker shade on the outer edges, and again just building it up to create a brown smoky eye. As you can see, I'm not being too precise here, I'm really just building it up, seeing how it looks as I go along, and then eventually I'm taking a narrower brush and bringing the shades underneath the eye as well. Then I'm using the Urban Decay's Gwen Stefani palette and a bit of a more shimmery shade just to add a little bit of sparkle while I blend the colours together. And then I'm using my By Terry concealer just again to bring a little bit more light to the under eye area, patting that in with my delicate ring finger. To make the eyes a little bit darker, I'm using a plum shade from the Urban Decay palette. Just blending this in, making sure there are no harsh edges so it's really thoroughly blended, before I use an Urban Decay, not sure the name of this one but I'll leave it below, a sparkly shadow just to bring a pop of sparkle to the middle of the eyelid. Then I'm just going to use some liner, although they didn't really use liner in the 1920s, but you know, this doesn't have to be completely historically accurate, so I'm using the Collection liner to use just to create a liquid line before applying my lashes. A lot of the makeup trends in the 1920s were inspired by the Egyptians, so I think if they were to use eyeliner they probably would have done a bit of a cat flick. And then as you can see I'm just using a normal mascara before cheekily adding a little bit of contour just because I thought my face needed a little bit more shaping, but this again definitely not historically accurate for 1920s. Then I'm trimming some of my Vegas Nay eyelashes so they fit perfectly and applying those using the eyelash glue. Next, I'm going to be shaping my lips, so I've taken my most high coverage concealer, which is by Vichy Dermablend, and just narrowing in the edges of my lips to create more of a pout shape, which was really fashionable in the 20s. And then I'm using the shade Wes from Tom Ford Lips and Boys, and it's kind of like a deep plum shade, which was really trendy back in the 20s. Because it's a dark colour, I'm using a lip liner brush, this one's from Delilah, just to create a very precise shape, and then going in with the lipstick. Then I'm using one of the Estee Lauder lip potions. I wanted more of an ombre kind of red plum look, so I've used the Doe Foot applicator just to add a different shade in there. And then one area of makeup where they really did love a bit of colour was the blush, so I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic in Sex on Fire to add a pop of blush to my face. Then I decided I needed a little bit more darkness on the eyes, so I took a really narrow brush back to my Bobbi Brown palette and added some liner before using my brand new Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold highlighter to add a very, very subtle highlight to the tops of the cheekbones. That's the final makeup stage. Then I pull my hair down out of the ponytail, give it a good shake before turning on my new GHD Curve Wand hair curlers. I'm not actually going to have my hair down, this is more just to bring some curls in so that my bun can be nice and voluminous. Long hair wasn't really very fashionable, they normally would have tied it up or pinned it all up, so I'm just adding some volume with a Kerastars Volume In powder before adding in my pearl headband and curling my hair into a side bun. I wasn't having a very good hair day and probably could have made a little bit more effort here, but you know, this was quite a cool hairstyle in the 1920s. Then I used some pins which match my hair colour just to secure the bun in place, loosen it up a little bit and add a little bit more of the Kerastars hairspray to hold it in place. Finally, I'm adding in a little clip just to add a bit more pretty detail into the hairstyle. And here we are, this is the finished makeup look. I really hope you guys have enjoyed getting ready with me, and whether you're heading to a 1920s party or just want something a little bit more glamorous for your New Year's Eve, hopefully this video has inspired you and given you a few little tips. If you love this look, then please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I hope you have a fantastic New Year's Eve. See you next time, bye bye!